Hello. Um, this is a video. This is a helpful tips video for English learners. Anybody who's studying, specifically anyone who's interested in studying vocabulary and understanding like English idiomatic expressions. But it's also helpful for students who just, don't know what a word or phrase means. Um, so basically, today's video is like I just wanted to show you Google Define. And which is it's not like a separate part of Google, but literally just you define any word or phrase and it'll just like you type in define into the search bar and it'll give you a bunch of stuff. So define, I don't know, define pragmatic. Okay, it will give you the how to say the word
Pragmatic.
it'll I've never done the learn to pronounce feature, but it'll tell you the word class, and it'll tell you the definition of the word. It'll give you a set of synonyms. It'll give you a separate definition for linguistics. And here they talk about the history of the word, but I don't really get into all that. But okay, let's say you have a word that has multiple definitions. So define, cheap, right? And we've got like, we have an adjective, comparative adjective, superlative adjective, cheap, cheaper, and cheapest. Um, and, a whole bunch of like, there's a bunch of adjectives that are the cheap has a bunch of meanings as an adjective. And so here they are: charging low prices, low quality, miserly or stingy, deserving of contempt, or of little worth because achieved in a discreditable way requiring little effort. And they have like different examples for each of them. So a cheap restaurant, cheap or shoddy goods, a cheap trick. And so an English learner won't know, like you as a learner won't know the exact definition of the word, right? And so a lot of these might not make sense to you. But if you go through each of these definitions, you will eventually find the one that you're trying to understand. Like, let's say you read the word cheap in a story, and you're like, what does that mean? And so if you type in define cheap, one of these definitions will eventually work for you. Um, it also works for phrases, define, sharp as a tack. And the whole phrase, right? Extremely clever or astute. Or let's try another idiomatic expression. Define healthy as a horse. I mean, I imagine it would give you the same result. Okay, so sometimes Google has a blind spot, and it won't tell you, like you won't get the same screen, right? In this case, you'll get a bunch of other websites, uh, and you have to rely on those. But let's take a phrase that's not an idiomatic expression, but it's a collection of words. Define, you know, um, I'm running late. Yeah, or just it doesn't tell you. But how about just running late? Define running late. Okay, so Google is a lot more reliable for individual words than for expressions and idiomatic expressions. But whenever you're trying to figure something out, the meaning of something, type in define and then define whatever, and then write whatever the whole phrase is, or just this individual words in it. It's usually people have confusion with entire phrases. So put the whole phrase in and see what Google spits out. In rare cases, it'll give you, the results that it showed before, like this. And I guess in some cases it'll give you this. But use the search keyword define, and that will help you as a learner. That's it. That's my useful tip for this YouTube video. I hope it's been useful. Thanks for listening. Have a nice day.